Plenty. You said hold on. And when you speak, speak up.
All right.
Not a little bit that though.
Spit
out, spit out. Marlon, he told Marlon to come out, he started chewing into the bark. He like to get all the flavor out.
You for real want me to get it out?
You spit it out.
He should have gotten all the flavor out by now.
Yeah, well, it was kind of still there. This was kind of still there.
Oh man.
It's right there. Just step on it. You can't wave your hand over it. We're not like y'all yet. All right. What are you pointing at? Oh, I thought you were pointing. All right. All right, so what's up, everybody? It's Darnell and Dom here to you with another podcast, with another Pit podcast. Welcome back to the Pit, and we have some special guests. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
My name is Carl Clark.
Ashley Clark. Hi.
Perfect, and they're the Clarks. And we wanted to invite them today so that we could do part 2 of our What Works For You episode. Babe, tell them a little bit about us.
Again, I do not have it memorized. Apologize. We are a millennial Christian couple striving to be the best that we can be. Marriage is only hard work if you make it so. We want to use this platform to talk about certain things that goes on with us and to be open about them so that someone else can gain strength knowing that they are not the only ones. There is power in the ability to open up and share, and with that, welcome you to the Pit.
Welcome you to the Pit. Before we actually get started, get into it, we appreciate all the feedback, all the support that you guys have been giving. Shout out to everybody who subscribed. Shout out to everybody who follows us. If you don't subscribe and it's your first time here, click the subscribe button and turn your push notifications on so you can see when we're posting videos. But let's get right into it. Let's see. So let's start off with how you guys met. Give them a little bit of how you guys met.
Go ahead. You tell the story.
Let's see. We met back in 2002.
Wow.
We met in 2002. Almost, it was just about to be the summer before my senior year, her junior year in high school. So, the only reason we met is because of my actual best friend. We played basketball and we we were seeking tutoring just so we could make sure that we didn't have any eligibility issues. And
They were seeking tutoring in like the last week of school. For like a whole year.
Just to make sure we edged it out, because we were playing at that time. So he recommended a girl that I had recalled seeing around, and I said, okay, well, let's go talk to her. And we went. It was obviously her. And I told her, I said, hey, I need to I need you to go ahead and work with me on some stuff real quick just so I can knock out this last test and I'll be good. And I think the first thing that came out of her mouth was no.
I'm good.
Hard pass.
Yeah. I was like, okay. And I looked at my homeboy and I'm just like, maybe she didn't hear what I asked her. I asked her again. I said, hey, I'm gonna give you another shot at it.
You gonna give her another shot at it?
Yes. At that time, it was just one of those.
They were the cool guys.
That is kind of the things. So
Okay.
I'm like, look.
Do you know who I am?
Right. What?
Let me get
I
your
was
number.
not. Right.
You gotta write your number down so I don't. Got you.
I was like, look, she probably didn't hear what I said. Maybe I was talking loud. I repeated myself. And the problem at that point was that she repeated herself. And I was like, okay, let me just walk away. We literally walked away and it got closer to the end of the year. The yearbooks came out. Everybody's signing yearbooks. And some of her friends were yelling like, hey, come sign my yearbook. And I'm like, all right, I'll get to you guys soon.
Stand in line.
But I said I'll get to you. I'm gonna come over there pretty soon. And she yelled as well. She's like, hey, yeah, make sure you sign mine too. I gave you 2 chances. But I'm like, all right, I'll get to you. Whatever. Ended up signing her friends, and just happened to be walking up the hallway, and she was walking the opposite way. We were both walking class, literally, and I look up, and we have to literally walk right by each other, man. I hadn't signed at that point, and she was like, so you really not gonna sign it? Oh, yeah, I'll sign it. I signed something real quick, a little note, and
He took up the whole page.
the
Little
rest-
note, he took up the whole page.
Oh,
The rest was.
The rest was history. I didn't, but I wasn't really looking into it. I just wrote a little something in there, and I was like, she's definitely cool, but, she kind of dogged me, so it's.
She wrote you off
but
early.
she still wanted the autograph, so it's cool. I'll give her the sig.
I'll give it a
I'll keep moving. And in that summer, we had sports. We had sports in the summer as well, so we all had to be back. And one of her friends approached me, and she said, "Hey, she was wondering about what you wrote in her yearbook, and if you were serious." And she really was like curious and like interested. And I didn't even think anything of it. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, she was like, well, do you want me to give her your number, or do you want me to? I'm like, no, I can go talk to her. I can just go talk to her when I see her. So we talked.
Y'all developed a friendship after that?
Me and her?
Yeah.
No, I just went straight to her, and I was talking to her like, hey,
Let me
let's
get your
talk.
number.
Let me get the number. I'll call you. And we'd go from there. And she was like, no. I'm like, look, I'm not playing with you.
Right. So
So eventually she gave it to me. We talked like probably either
like
that
that next
day
day.
or the next day.
Yeah.
And we went out
Like that next day.
Yeah, whatever that weekend was. Probably the next day. So it was that week. So it all happened in that week. And from then on, it just kept going. So 02 to now, 2020.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And so when you guys eventually got together, was were you guys thinking about? Like, what was your thought process on being together? Were you guys thinking about? Were you thinking like long term marriage, or you were thinking like, oh, this is just somebody I'm with and this in high school.
Right.
She's my chick for right now.
It became long, like as time went, it became long term. It wasn't that long before it became long term, but yeah, it became long term to where it was odd to other people. Just like the things that kind of started happening, the things that we would talk about.
And what were those things?
Accounts, like just the way we spend money. Like at that time, and probably still now, but at that time it was like your kids, like you get money from your parents and then you spend it or whatever, and we were like, oh, like let's like build something.
And this was high
That
school,
was
right?
more in college though.
But
we
it
didn't have money.
it really started, it really went through, like, it really translated in college, like once we graduated, but that year was like, that year I feel like prepped us then for when we went to college.
So you guys were doing it in high school.
In high school, it was
Money
more
was
like, I was making your
Yeah,
lunches, like
lunches
it was
being
like,
made, and
what?
it was, yeah, so
Why are you making his lunch?
Mom was like, where's the bread?
Why are we going through break like this?
You only get one sandwich every morning. But she was, stacking two of everything. 2 sandwiches, 2 capris.
Gotta have a capri in there. Gotta have capris in there. So that's interesting because what we talked about on the last episode was how we had an account, but that was all the way. That was like junior year of college. Like that was late.
Yeah, it was early because I had
Yeah.
a car. I got a car when I was
Dang.
16.
Yeah.
So then when I graduated, I had to start paying the bill. And so our friend was like, oh, you can get a cheaper rate if you put down like that you're married. But you don't, I'm like, well, we're not married, so how are we supposed to do that? And they're like, oh, we just have a joint account. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, perfect. Like that made sense for me.
Right.
Other people were like, what are you talking about? Like,
Right.
why would you do that at this age?
And for you guys, like that just felt like normal.
Cool. Like it was like, okay, well, this is just another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Now we can manage. I mean, granted, she may be getting, $10 and I'm getting 10 cents, but we were getting $10.10.
Right.
So it was like, hey, we got $10.10, and we can manage it and just, make sure we know what's going in and out. But for other people, it was like, that's not your husband. That's not, you don't have to do, you shouldn't be doing that, blah, blah, blah. So,
Right.
okay.
And I mean, some of that time I did question some of the stuff because the
and
people
it's
talking
tough.
to me are my friends who are either single or maybe they're dating, but they're living their life still, or like, my mom, who obviously is just looking out for me, but she had been single for a long time at that point.
Right.
And so it was, you get enough of that in your ear and you're like, oh, maybe I am the one that's like being maybe taken advantage of or whatever the case is. But we had spent so much time like building our relationship, understanding we both like came from Christian backgrounds, and that was kind of like the core. And so, in a normal situation, it might have been unhealthy. Like if both people weren't if both people didn't have the same goals and it wasn't like reciprocated. But like we knew our relationship, so it was.
And the models that I had were actually in relationships, and they were like.
Oh,
right.
gotcha.
Your guidance, right?
And then so I was kind of relating to her. Now there's no right or wrong, but I'm just like, can you tell me everybody who's saying this, and let's dissect
What their situation
Right.
Right.
Right. That's why we talked about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's why we talked about it. Also, like it's like you're taking advice from people, or people are chiming in, but what are their current situations?
Right.
If their current situation isn't something that's conducive to what we're trying to build,
Right.
then it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter at
yeah.
that point.
Mm-hmm.
True. So when did you guys get married, and did your views eventually help out your marriage?
We got married the summer of 08.
08.
So right after I had,
Shout out 08.
I graduated high school.
right after, that was right after I graduated from college.
Kobe Bryant.
Y'all were
All
talking
right.
about-
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, so the summer of 08, I had just graduated and was starting a really crazy job in September. So we wanted to make sure we had gotten married and went on our honeymoon and like hung out and stuff. He was still in college at the time. But all of that prepping, like I was 6 years into our relationship. So by the time we had gotten married, things were easy.
Mhm.
Like we were really newlywed-ing it for
Mhm.
like a good 2 years
Yeah, but
before I got pregnant.
Even at that
But-
point, though, even at the point of like as of the day that we got married, there was still like talking, like there was still.
Oh yeah, that was the whole situation.
Oh,
A bridesmaid,
like,
a
you guys
bridesmaid
got
almost
to-
got kicked out the wedding the
Mm.
day of the wedding.
And that was because of like them putting their views on to you guys?
So we were living separately the whole time.
Right.
But we had bought an we had got an apartment like
Uh-huh.
a couple weeks before. So he was living there at the apartment, had been like moving in and stuff. And so the
Mhm.
day before the wedding, we both slept at the apartment. Like we didn't do anything, but we just both
Right.
slept there.
Right.
And so my bridesmaid called. I was getting my hair done, like getting everything ready. And she's like, "Oh, so you stayed at your mom's last night?" And I'm like, "No, I was with Carl at the apartment." See, he's gonna be controlling your whole life. Like it was like a whole thing. Granted, she was single. Like I had to like filter it. And I was like, I mean, if you have a problem, you don't have to show up today. Like it's cool. We could be down like a whole bridesmaid. I'm fine with that. She showed up. But so like to his point, I kind of forgot about that. Like it didn't stop. Like once we had decided like this is what we want to
Right.
do,
Yeah.
people still found ways to kind of throw their unwanted advice and their unhelpful advice. But by that point, we were we were really solid. So we didn't. It was like this is us. This is what we're doing. We
Yeah.
are enjoying life, and so everyone else can either be part of it or not.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to my parents
yes,
and my brothers.
They really
Those
helped
were
out.
that
The model.
was what I saw, like, and just saw how well it worked. And as far as having money, like not spending and stuff like that, we had the capability of having things, and like people thought we had things when they would come to our house and stuff like that. But our parents were very frugal. That's why they have
What they have.
They have.
Mm-hmm.
And like, just the idea of just having a house, like that wasn't even back then, that wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
My parents would always say, all these kids that you're talking to, all these kids that you see with this, that, and the other, go see what their living situation is.
Right.
And
Right.
then you'll understand why we're saving, and then it's just gonna, trickle
Yeah.
down,
Mhm.
trickle down to you, and you'll understand it when you get there. And that's exactly what happened.
See, and that's like another thing, because even that's off the the questions that we have, but just that's different in the sense that you're thinking ahead with money. Like the number one and the number two causes of divorce is sex and then money.
right.
And money is a big factor. If y'all not managing the money correctly, it can cause confusion, it can cause anxiety, it can cause all these different things, and it causes you to, separate.
Right.
But if you're thinking about that, which a lot of couples really aren't thinking that way. They're not thinking, okay, we need to save, okay, we need to make sure that the bills are paid. Like they're trying to live their best life, and
Right.
then the bills come after.
Yeah.
Which is good, because you guys are stressing that your view was make sure that we stay on track. And your staying on track was based off of what you saw, the example that you have from your parents, your brothers, different things. They have houses, your parents have houses, and they build extra on the house. And then, but you look into it, they're frugal with their money. They don't spend, they don't floss. Your dad, doesn't he got a, what did he have when we was over there? Did he had a, was it a range?
Like thrown out Hummer.
Oh, right, it was a Hummer. And I was like, yeah, we left the game, and I was like, Pops, this you? I was like, this is you? He was like, you know, that's me. But I'm like, but they don't, you would never know. They don't carry themselves like they, you know what I'm saying? They got it like that. So,
yeah,
exactly.
Right. If you saw that, you would think like, okay, like they flossing. But if you really seen like or saw the things that they've done, or see the things that they do,
Right.
My dad, he likes to jog and collect bottles.
Literally while he's jogging.
Wait, what? I was like, he's jogging, he's getting by like,
Says
no
bottles.
bottle.
Let me scoop that up real quick.
No, he recycles like a lot. So anything that we have, he comes to the house. Anything that anybody has, he drives to everybody's house. And he runs.
You got your
collects
bottle.
bottles.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you ever went to the house that I grew up in, which they're still at, paid off, you would be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I said when I walked in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yo. And he said that the stuff that I saw wasn't even there when he was little. This was all added on.
well,
Like,
yeah, it was there, right? It was there when I was little, but not like at the beginning. Like I was there when
they added everything on.
But we were young, but it wasn't when I was first.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Wow.
And so obviously we talked about, you kind of touched on the advice, like people in your ear and saying stuff like that. So how are you guys now on taking advice? Like, do you guys take it with a grain of salt, or do you just take it as it depends on who it is and where it's coming from?
Probably both. I'll say depends on who it is,
Right.
where it's coming from. But over the years, growing up, we've been fortunate enough to have just really good examples that were older than us, already did it, all of that. My brother, my second oldest brother, when it came to marriage and properties and buying stuff like that, he had already did it. So it was easy to just go to him. He was like, just do this, do that. And we did it, followed it, bought property. So yeah, we were just fortunate enough to have really good examples. That's pretty much
Yeah,
what it came down to.
so what would you say would be like some of the advice that you've gotten over the years, like good and bad?
I remember the one thing that sticks out in my mind was someone told me, a family member told me, always say yes. Always say yes to
That
a
always
lot of
comes
people.
up.
A lot of people
Most
get that
everybody say that.
advice. It was always say yes.
Whatever your wife says, say yes.
Yeah, just say yes.
That's not the
for
case.
me. I was like, that was bad advice.
Right.
So that would be
One of
Did,
that one.
did you actually you heard, they told you, you're like, okay, did you
Just say yes.
apply it and then let Ash just ask the thing, you're like, yes.
no,
Absolutely
no.
not.
Oh,
He never
okay.
tried it.
Oh, you knew
Yeah,
from
so
the
you
jump.
knew, right?
Like,
That's
cool, I
just
appreciate
dumb.
it.
Okay, I was wondering if you actually
like they give it to you, try to you was like, yeah, that was terrible advice. Like I can't keep letting her, I can't keep saying yes to her, but you was like off the bat, that's terrible.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I appreciate it.
And then what?
I know, yeah.
Suck it up.
One of the probably one of the worst advice someone gave me was it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Like there's a whole
Think about
whole
that.
thing. Like they didn't say it like that, but it was more like, I mean, if you want to do it, just do it. And then like it's easier to deal with what happens after that than to like have to have a whole discussion and like potential argument over it. And this was from like married people who, I mean, you never really know how people's marriages work or how their lives work. Like, I'm telling
How
you.
good it actually is.
Right. I'm telling you, it's way easier. Like, I'm sure it might actually be easier. Like, I'm not disagreeing. It probably is easier even for some dudes, but like, I knew, like, that's not, we were building trust, and that's probably the biggest part of our relationship that's made it easy over the years is because we trust each other with like everything, like mental, spiritual, physical, like, and so you start doing stuff like that. What? Why are you looking at me?
We said physical.
Oh Lord. So yeah, you start doing stuff like that, and it's like you start breaking down all that stuff that you had built up for a reason. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that you guys like recognize when you're getting bad advice, because some people
Instead of
will
like,
just,
let's try that.
yeah, like okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I tried that,
yeah.
and you try it, and it just backfires.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good when
Right.
you can actually like
Right.
hear someone give you advice you know is not
Right.
best for you,
Right.
and actually like, you know what, I'm not like Carl said, thank you, but I'm not.
Right.
But thanks
I'm
for
good.
no thanks.
Yeah,
Right.
thanks but no thanks, and actually just like, no, I'm actually gonna do the opposite of what you
Right.
just said, because that's actually gonna make us better in our
Right.
relationship. You know.
Yeah, it's
I don't think
interesting.
trial and error is, I don't think there's anything wrong with trial
Yeah.
and error. But
Mhm.
Kind of depends on what it
Yeah.
is. It's interesting because so many things you hear like growing up, like find somebody who's gonna love you for you, right? Like that sounds great, but then when you become an adult, like which we have experienced, not really, I guess kind of with ourselves, but also with just talking to other people, you lean on that and you're like, well, this is
This is
me.
who I am.
This is who I am. Even the things that could like you could be developing something or maybe getting rid of a bad habit or something, but people say, well, this is me, like you love me for
Take
who
it
I
away.
am, or take it. It's like
Uh-huh.
that's not realistic.
Yeah.
We often get bad habits. We've been trained certain ways and like, you know, accustomed to things that don't necessarily work when you're trying to come together and be like a partnership. And so, you know, that's some of the kind of stuff that it's like, yeah, that's good advice. Like you should find someone who loves you for you, but you should also find someone that's going to help you grow.
Right.
Be
Be
better.
better.
So,
Right.
you know, that's the kind of stuff that you just figure out like while you're in it. Like, how you gonna change me? Like, this is who I am. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
changing
then
for
you're never
nobody.
open to anything else but
Right.
what you are.
Right.
And that's crazy. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's when you see like you get those people in your ear, because you have people from the outside in, they're seeing like they think this is you, but then you see yourself change to grow for you guys to
Right.
get better,
Exactly.
and it's like no, but like I'm trying to go. This is me getting
You're
better.
not,
The
right,
first
but
thing
they're
is like
saying you're not you anymore.
you're not
Right.
you anymore.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's like
you changed. You
yeah,
switched up.
yeah,
Like
I'm
it's
not,
a bad thing.
Right.
It's like,
right?
Right.
Yeah. So,
You
yeah.
said what?
Change.
Right. Like it's
Yeah.
totally different.
Totally different.
But yeah, it's crazy you touched on that point, because like we were talking about it before, it's you have to know who your partner is. You have to know who you're with. So if he gave you advice on, well, that's you though. That's your personality. So if he gave you advice to like say yes to everything, you're not gonna say yes to nobody unless you really want to. So that's
Right.
a different example. But if somebody gives you advice and say you need to apply this to your marriage,
Right.
but I know that Dominique is the exact opposite of what you're telling me to do for her. If she likes the exact opposite, it's stupid.
Right.
Then I'm not gonna.
Right.
Right, buy her flowers, and she doesn't like flowers, so now I'm buying flowers. Hey, babe, okay, and I'm gonna toss them. Right, so you gotta know who you're with and know and apply what's gonna work. Like I use the example of like sports, like when you're learning basketball, whatever sport you're learning, whatever the coaches are teaching you, you take whatever, or coaching. Let's say coaching. I'm sure Carl coaches the way that he wanted to be coached when he was playing. So if this coach yells a whole bunch, he's like, okay, I'm not doing that. If this coach cussed, okay, I'm not doing that. But if this coach is very encouraging, very enthusiastic, it was like, okay, I'm gonna pull that. I'm gonna pull that and take it from, you take from different places, then you grow yourself, and then you become what you learn, what from the good stuff that you pulled, and not the negative. You know what I mean? So I think that's a key point that you brought up. I had another question. I can't remember what it was. It was to go along with that. Oh, you guys talked about the good advice. Like, what were some of the, like, what are some of the better advices that you've gotten? What are some of the better ones that you've gotten?
Better. I would say, and this is not really for everyone, but don't go to sleep mad. It's kind of one of the, say, generic marriage advice things that people give that I've been told. So I think it's cool.
Do you apply that?
Yeah, for the most part, I actually do. Because I don't like to just
let it linger.
Yeah, like, oh, we'll talk about it.
Usually it's like we talk about it, we might not be totally like happy, like we've gained all the resolution, but we've at least like said our things. Now it's kind of like go to sleep, like marinate on it, and then the next morning it's like we'll pick it back up.
Yeah.
No?
Well, I was gonna say, usually for me, I usually try to get up, as much as possible, and we might pick it up in the morning, but
a lot of it is handled.
Most of it's handled, yeah.
We've already talked about the bulk, and we're pretty solid. Probably have even made up at that point.
Right. What was I gonna say? Go ahead.
We're talking about good advice, right?
Yeah.
You always hear like the whole like happy, what is it, happy wife, happy life. And people say that all the time, and I feel like people like really believe that, which is just interesting to me, because it's like there's a whole nother person in the marriage. And I remember seeing something on social media that said happy spouse, happy house. And I posted it, and people were like in the comments, like,
really?
What are you talking? Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe it's just something that has worked for us. So it's like if my focus is on making sure he is happy, and his focus is on making sure I'm happy, then like it's whole. Like it doesn't become selfish and like you're just doing something for your own gratification. Like it just it makes you a more selfless person.
Right.
And so for us, it just like it made more sense, and it wasn't really. It was kind of something we were already doing, but it put words to like what we were doing.
Right.
And then when other people get married, like I always write that like in their card when it's like, what's something we can do to like help us? I always write that because it's so concise and like simple, but I feel like so many people focus on how do I make me better, which is good. Like you should make yourself better.
A lot of focus is on the wife.
And the wife, like the whole concept of just say yes. It's like the same. Right.
Yeah, like you guys just get
left out.
Yeah.
For sure. Why?
Like if I'm happy, you should be happy.
Yeah.
Like you're happy.
Like your whole point of the marriage is to make sure I'm happy and I'm good. And that's your job.
Right. And I get the concept of it because they're saying like when a woman is not happy, then it makes her miserable. Like everything could be miserable. But on the flip side, I tend to follow the happy spouse, happy house, because if I'm focused on her, she's focused on me, now we're only focused on each other.
Right.
And now I don't have time to worry about what my need, like,
Right.
I'm not even
You're not
thinking
concerned
about my
about
needs.
it because you're thinking about her.
Exactly.
She's thinking about yours.
Exactly.
Right. It's perfect.
So now, the more I'm thinking about her, she's gonna feel obligated and feel better about
Exactly.
figuring out what
Yeah.
my needs are
Right.
and handle them. So now she's doing everything that I need
Right.
without even me having to tell you,
Right.
this is what I want to do. You're not doing this. This is how I feel. But if I just focus on what do you need, what do you want,
Right.
then y'all can figure it out together, and then both parties are happy.
That's why the wife one really work, because it depends on the wife. Like, if I make sure that she's happy, and by me making sure she's happy, she's just happy. That's it. If she's like,
Right.
I'm happy, then I'm mad.
Right.
So,
Right.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So, you know, well, in marriages, you have your ups and downs, and you have, you know, problems and like that you have to work through. What do you guys find yourself seeking, like, help sometimes? Like,
How
help?
often?
Yeah.
how often
Do you seek, like, help? Would you say, like, yo, we need to talk to anybody? It could be your mom, dad, it could be your brother, it could be friends. Like, do you guys find yourselves seeking help sometimes, that if you can't figure it out on your own?
No, that's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very
that's
rare.
Extremely rare, and I would say that's, for me, that's only because a lot of the stuff that happened when we were dating, because the mentality that was there when we were dating, and we were dating for, you know, a pretty long time. While we were dating, the people that, you know, that were above us were already married. So what we were doing was modeled after marriages. It wasn't modeled after relationship, or girlfriend and boyfriend or whatever. It wasn't modeled after that. So our growing pains was really prevalent in that dating area. Like, we was getting a lot of the advice that we needed during that period.
Right.
It wasn't really marriage. It was kind of like when marriage happened, it was like, if we were already married, the only thing was that it wasn't legal, and we were now cohabitating. So, and that didn't really
Change.
spark anything either.
Right.
Because it was just like, now we just get to, we were seeing each other often, pretty much every day when we were dating. So now we're seeing each other like just like in a house, an apartment. So.
I feel like I kind of have a slightly different like experience. Like when we first got married, things were cool. Like they were really good.
Right.
When we started having kids, that's when things shook up because you couldn't practice that. Like while we were dating, we had pretty much figured out like the money and like a lot of that stuff that people struggle with. But like having kids and sex, those two things weren't things that we like could practice before getting married. And so I feel like it was like I didn't have a whole lot of people to talk to get like a woman's perspective on things, because sometimes you feel like is this just me or is this like a thing that wives deal with? And some of the people I was seeking counsel from was like, okay, thank you for your time, like, and we're just gonna leave it at thank you for your time. But it forced us to be stronger, because I didn't have really outside people that I could trust to give me like helpful or applicable guidance. So it was like, we really gotta figure each other out and ourselves out.
Right, and I feel like that was, as a result, we were able to do that because of
There was no
relationship.
Right.
Because in the relationship, we learned how to really talk, like how to really communicate and really like figure things out or try methods and so forth. Because we were kind of doing that when we were coming up. We were kind of doing that. so we had that bump, but we were able to just come
Kind of
together
adjust.
and yeah, make the adjustment, and
So no, we don't seek it actively.
But like that works. Like you guys are.
It was like what we
Yeah,
had. It was what, like, you could either continue seeking people that are helping you, or
Yeah.
you come together and you're like, we just gotta figure this out between
together.
the two
Mhm.
of us.
Mhm.
You know, now we've got more people, like including you guys, that we can come to bounce things off of. But for the first 10 years of our marriage, it was like us and figuring that stuff out, which was nice because we got to kind of help others and kind of open lines of communication with others because we had been through that.
and
Like,
it built our communication. Even though it was good, it just
made it better.
much
Yeah.
better.
Right. Yeah. So.
Okay. Would you guys describe your marriage as being successful up to this point? And in what ways can it be better?
Are you looking at me?
No.
For sure. We've had an amazing marriage. It's been so fun. It's been work, but how I describe, like, I have a job and I'm blessed to have a job, but I don't enjoy going to work every day. And there are people who enjoy, like, their jobs. That's how I consider, like, our marriage. It's like, it's work, but it's like work that I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I see the benefits of it. I see how much it's blessed us and how we've been able to kind of bless others. Like, I like to, like, teach and, like, help. Like, I thought that's what I was going to do when I became a grown-up, but not. So for sure it's been successful. But there's always things that we can work on. I feel like you have to make a conscious effort to always continue to grow. And so every day, you know, we've got 3 kids. I go to work every day. I come home and it can become very routine. And so I feel like at this point we're like, we make a conscious effort to fight the routine, like not to let things just happen. Like, we should be intentional about everything that we're doing. And that's like a daily, I don't want to call it a struggle, but it's like something you gotta work on every single day.
Yeah.
And you know, and we change. Like, I think that's the hardest part about being together so long and from when we were 16, because I'm not the same person I was when I was 16.
Yeah.
You're not the same person as you were when you were 17. You know, like, our goals change, our priorities change, our personalities change. The things that we were able to deal with before we're not now. And so it's like every day trying to continue to fall in love with that new version of you and the new version of me is fun, but it's challenging. And so it's like always trying to, you know, meet the need, because our goal is to make the other one, make sure they're, like, happy. So it's always trying to, like, figure out, like, what's the new thing? Like, this is what I was working on and this is what I've been doing, but now it sounds like you're needing this need to be met a different way. And so it's always, every day I feel like there's something that we can be better about. And that's just with us. That's not even bringing in the kids. Like, they're a whole, like, I don't know, thing of their own who require a lot of time. And so trying to fit them into it as well, because they're older now and they'll be like, Mom, you don't hang out with me. And I'm like, ugh. Like, I know, but there's only so many hours. Like, so there's, you know, always something. If it's not us, it's like trying to figure out how can we be more available and present with them. So there's always something, but it's usually fun trying to figure that stuff out.
I concur.
You concur?
On all of the things?
Yeah.
Man, a few
It's
words.
fun. I always tell people I don't know if it's weird, but I wish that people had at least some of what we had. They would be like, when we talk to people who may be struggling with whatever in my mind, I'm just like, man, if they could just experience some kind of way was able to just, allow them to experience what we've experienced being together for, almost 18 years.
We're not old enough.
Yeah, it's just been amazing. I can't complain with all the, whatever the ups and downs, with all the ups and downs, whatever. I never traded, so I cannot complain.
That's his happy face, by the way.
Silly. Yeah, when you brought up the kids, it made me think of something else that we could for sure talk about, but we didn't. But we could talk about it. Hopefully, if we can have you guys back, we can talk about that. But like the dynamics of you being a professional dad. So
that's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In my experience, and like how people react to me when I tell them that that's our situation is very different than how people are like, oh, cool, you're a professional dad. And for me, they're like, what? Why would you allow that?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
What do you mean? So that's like a whole different thing. But it works for us.
You guys.
It works for us. It
Exactly.
always has. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
But yeah, I skipped a part in the beginning. I think I got nervous. I wanted to make sure that you guys were comfortable talking, but it ended up working out. But just so you guys know, like we met Carl and Ashley, I would say, was it 3-4 years ago? 3? I knew of Carl, and we met in passing, like for over the years. But then he ended up coming around a little bit more when he started playing the bass, and then we kind of was cool then. And then when you guys actually started coming to the church, that's when we all, met and we started hanging out. But we've been friends for about, I want to say 3.5, 3 around that. And for me, and you can obviously, tell your part of it, but I've told him like the friendship and the sense of family that we've created together is really is really an awesome thing. Like it's been very helpful to us about the things that we talk about, whether it's sex, money, just the housing market, different things like that. You guys have like really helped us. You guys are always encouraging us. And for me, I'm super appreciative, and I know together we're super appreciative of what both of you guys do. Friendship is just dope. Just somebody we can, hang with, laugh with. I'll tell you guys, like the first time that they came over here and kicked it with us, we were here to this is like the very first time, and we were up,
laid out.
right, she was laid out on the couch.
We should have Ashley right here, because this is her spot.
Right, and we were just talking, and they're the reason why we ended up going on a cruise, because they made they should be salespeople for Carnival.
Right?
They hyped it, and
we
they were
already bought our
showing
tickets
pictures.
for Mexico. We were like, man,
We should have went on the
where
cruise.
we should be going.
Right.
Shout out to Carnival.
If you want to sponsor us.
Right. If you want to sponsor us right now, let us know.
Right.
But yeah, like ever since then, like it was really like day one. Because it was random that you guys came over, because we went to Cheesecake Factory and y'all didn't have the kids, and that's
it was Cheesecake Factory. It was California Fish Grill.
That wasn't then.
That wasn't then?
That was after. It was Cheesecake Factory in Marina. And y'all didn't want to go home because y'all didn't have the kids. And that's when I found out that when they don't have a curfew, Carl is like, where are we going? What are we doing?
No
Let us
curfew.
know. So we invited them over, and it was like, right. It was literally history from there. But like,
No, that's the exact same. Yeah, I concur as well. No, like like we talk about all the time how much like we appreciate, right? How much we appreciate like you guys, the friendship. Like me and Ash was just talking about that like a couple of days ago. How much like we just we just love our friendship and how much it's grown and like how much we love each other. And so I'm
Which
very
is weird because
forgiving.
I don't like people. I mean, I like people, but like I'm an introvert. I don't like meeting new people. I haven't had
Right.
close friends in forever, and
Mhm.
so it's a testament to you guys, really,
Mhm.
that we feel so welcoming
You're right.
with you and so comfortable with you guys to just
Mhm.
like it's just made the whole thing really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. And like I said, hopefully if we can get them back, we'll tell y'all about the professional dad thing, and then we'll also tell y'all about how they felt some type of way when we was trying to buy a house and they were trying to get their point across.
The petty
That's
petty.
when we knew that the
You met
friendship,
petty, actually.
right, the
That's
friendship
what she
was
found
real.
out. We was waiting for it.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I think that there was some good information that was given here. I think you guys,
Yeah.
somebody's definitely gonna be helped by what you guys are saying. I think the gist of everything that we talked about is like just figure out what works best for you guys in your situation. Every situation is different. Some advice that somebody gives you might not work for another couple. So it's best to do your own trial and error without outside noise.
Right.
Figuring it out together, the communication, whatever it's gonna be, whatever you guys feel is important, then you figure that out together. And obviously, first and foremost, Christ should be the number one priority in your marriage. So once you guys get that together, because the Bible talks about not being unequally yoked, and for you guys were equally yoked. For
Right.
us, we were equally yoked. So it helped,
Right.
and that set the foundation. Your foundation is Christ, and then you move forward after that. And I feel like that's why our marriage has been successful. Obviously, everybody has ups and downs, but with a good foundation is nothing that you guys can't. You can't weather any storm. You can weather any storm as long as you have a great foundation. But that's been another episode of, part 2 of What Works for You. Leave a comment below, share, and then if you guys have any questions for us or things or subjects that you guys feel we need to talk about, and if you guys want them to come back, ask them to come back. Leave it in the comments, and then hopefully we can have them back and we can talk about some more stuff. And then maybe we'll have an episode where we talk about covenant. Right. Right. So, anything?
No, you.
She knows.
Thought you were doing the thing.
The tagline.
Do the thing.
Oh man.
Let's see. You forget every time.
No, because you always started out.
February.
March.
But we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Share. We're not gonna say this until we actually get it. So next one we're gonna have it down, and then.
You always started out. That's why I can't never think about it. Always remember.
There you go. Always remember that Jesus loves you.
No matter what you do,
No matter what you say.
no matter how you feel.
Always remember that Jesus is real. And she didn't say it with me. But we love you guys. We'll holler at y'all. Deuces.
Bye.
Oh my goodness.
I never get it.